welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and we're finally getting around to making the third ornament. I have it in my hands here. It turned out pretty cool. Um, Possible some room for changes. What you can't really see going on here is I have the 12 strings coming down, and there's a knot at the top that's just underneath that clip. And what I have to do is I have to build, essentially it's just a very small bracelet. So this is, if you've already watched the other two videos, you saw I made a template for it, and then I turned around and filled it with a pattern, and now is the actual putting it together. And for the most part, it took me a little bit to kind of get into the segment knotting for this pattern. I kind of forgot how I remembered that I liked the pattern, that it kind of moves quickly, but I kind of forgot why. So that was a thing. And then this start, like you'll see, like one of the knots flips and I kind of lose my mind over it. It's something you just have to be weary of when you don't have the structure like the start of a normal bracelet. So yeah, see, and I fight with it and then goes a little crazy and I pick it out and try to get the other knot to go the way it's supposed to. That was probably the well, it only happened the one time, and it was probably the most annoying thing in the whole making of all of this. So other than that, this comes together fairly well. Um, Overall, the ornament is really small. But part of this was about gauging size wise. Like, so this is 12 strings. Um, Honestly, I think we could scale this up a lot and we would end up with a very nice ornament. I think it would be really quite fun. My wife made kumis to hang this thing from, so that's really awesome. And you kind of see later on when we're putting the parts together how that happens. Um, and the bottom of it is, I don't know if it'll focus enough to see, but I love how that turns out. You'll see that it gets kind of revealed later on. Um, as far as the ornaments go, this is our easiest one so far. Absolutely. Swear by it. I put most of this together last night while talking with friends. And it just came together. It was just like, it was so easy. Again, it's a simple pattern and it's a relatively simple process that goes into the whole thing. So I don't want to get like too crazy about whatever. Like it's coming. I'll kind of explain as we get to it. But mind you, this is one of two pieces I have to make, right? So there's two pieces of these little bracelets that I put together exactly the same way. So that's kind of the important part. I don't think I really, because there's only snippets of each of the different parts of this thing. So this was just about how it gets started. And kind of there's a little bit more of this here than I actually remember recordings, but whatever, that's cool. Um, but yeah, it's two simple bracelet pieces that then get joined. And that part actually is pretty easy, provided you have clips and something to clip it to, right? You need to have a nice board. Of course, I have my easel. That's what makes it possible to actually record these things. If I wasn't in a recording type of thing, just a regular clipboard would have been just fine. I do recommend having two clips, right? Like one for each of the two pieces that you're going to put together so you can kind of get them lined up and where you want. It will make your life easier. And again, clips are cheap. Get yourself a few. They really come in handy. They will make your life easier in general. Because yeah, I don't think there'd be a way, if you're one of those tape people, I think this would not work out very well for you at all. It's just a heads up. All right. Kind of wish I knew when it switches over to the other part. Ah, here we go. So it's, like I said, it's just a loose knot, right? So you undo that, and that's going to be how it gets joined. So here I am. I'm clipping in one side. And now here's the second one, already made earlier. And they're clipped. And you see that little extra shift, that little, get them really butted up next to each other. And then it starts to come together. So basically, you have, it's a 12 string, right? So you're taking 6 from the one on the left, and you're taking 6 from the one on the right. And when you put that together, you still get your 12 strands. So you basically just go right back in to the same pattern that you are already doing. And the pattern that I set out for this really worked out great for me. You don't have to rotate it. It's the same thing all the way around. So it makes it really easy to kind of see what's going to happen with everything. And it just comes together. And you might notice they're not exactly straight, but that didn't seem to pose much of a problem. It might have been a little off with the shape of it or whatever, but when you get around to shaping it and making the ball, it turned out just fine. But if you're fussy, line them up straight. It can make a difference. I do think that would have been nicer had I gotten them straighter. Yeah, so this just basically comes down exactly the way that the other one was now at this point. Like, we've already put that part together. Now it's back to just making a bracelet. So again, it doesn't require special skills or something that you're going to have to come up with. You know, this is why I think this one, I mean, even if your pattern is straight up just chevrons, like that's all you do is just bring chevrons down, this would make this a very beginner's ornament, because the difficulty is only based on the pattern itself. Everything else just kind of comes together much like a regular bracelet, just that lining it up and starting it. So, okay, I finished the one side there. I turned it all the way around, 180 degrees around. I have the other side to come down now. And here you can pretty much make out what's going to happen in this center. It becomes like a diamond that's sort of pointing out towards the sides that it's going to. I really think it makes this really kind of special. It's really kind of fun. And it happens again at the top. When you join the top of it together, you get the same thing going on. It's just joined differently, and you'll see that in a minute. But again, it's just doing the thing. It's really so nice and easy compared to the other ones where I'm having to like check the pattern and it zigzags off this way and you know, yeah, this, and then having to do stitches to put them together. This just knots together. So basically you'll see the 4 ends come around, and I turned it inside out to do this. The 4 ends come around, and each one of the diamonds goes to the diamond next to it. So I kind of explained it wrong when I did I wrote a note to remind me. The template one, I said that that just joins these two together. It's not. It's the side, like the north and the east join, and then the south joins, and then the west joins. So that's might have been a little bit confusing, but once you have it in your hands, you'll probably pretty much see how the 45-degree angles all kind of come together. And so you just knot them together. And then what we did was we left off 2 strings off of each of these to have room to be able to make the thing for hanging it. So if you're putting on a tree or whatever, it's the very middle strings were left to do this. So it's like, because it's doubled up strings, the two of them, um, you just need what, the two sides, then you'll have 8 little strands, and that's enough to do a kumi. I was going to do it with it having 16 strands, but Mandy said that the kumi would be so thick it would be distracting from the ornament itself. So that's a thing. I did try to take all of the other strings and tie it into one big knot so that way there wasn't like tassely bits sticking out. I don't think I would recommend that. There's a great big knot on the inside, and there's like a little tassel sort of hanging down in it. It's not the worst, but I think I could maybe do better. And again, these are just prototypes, right? Like this is about seeing the concept work, make sure that it's gonna be ornament-ish shaped and stuff. So that part was achieved, but maybe that knot wasn't so much. Maybe do it differently. So here comes a bit of a reveal, and you can see how, right? It's really cool, right? And I love the pattern for it. It could have used maybe some brighter colors and stuff, but again, prototypes, I don't want to use all my best colors. And that's how it comes together. See the two corners, and you just tie those bits, but you want to flip it around backwards like this and then put it together. Because that way when you're tying the knots, those pieces are what will be into the inside, and then you flip it inside out, and then you get the right side around, and it looks kind of awesome. So here is my wife actually putting that together. And she said that because it was sort of angular, it kind of threw her off from the notion of doing her square knots. She had a little bit of a trouble with that, but she soon got that kind of figured out. But you can see we're putting two sides together. In this case, I guess it would be south and west. We're going together first if you count it sort of that way. And you can see the bright, it's kind of like the greenish yellow, is those strands are kind of tucked off to the side. So that way they don't get into the mix, and those are the ones that become this. And the way that this is all working with like strings going off to the side is around my clipboard, there is a variety of small clips that is making it so that way you can just bring your string over to the side, let it hang down, and keep them kind of spread out in the direction that you want. So that's another real pro tip for you if you're interested. It just makes life easier. Again, so the light green ones being all shifted to the side, and then the two pieces coming together. And again, you can see because of the clips, I've got strings going off in all different directions, but being kept out of the way from where the work is being done. So yeah, it just really works, guys. And again, this is inside out, right? So the prettier side is all facing inwards. And that's just to make it nicer later on. All right. And now it's a case of I took all of the bright green ones and kind of stuck them out the hole, because when I flip it around the other way, that's going to be a thing. And then this was about kind of trying to get it all lined up and set to do the last two pieces. So yeah, again, this was a whole heck of a lot easier. Oh, here Mandy needed an extra hand to hold it to get that knot in nice and tight so they weren't spread apart. But again, I think this one was a whole lot easier than anything else we've made. And knowing some things about this will lead to some of the ones that will be going on that we'll be making later on. So, yeah, hopefully you guys learned something here. Hopefully, if you guys have questions, leave it in the comments. I will do my best to answer any of the questions and stuff. If you're not already, please subscribe. I would, obviously, please. That would be nice. yeah, I really hope you enjoy this. I hope this serves you well. Maybe you can even come up with your own ideas. Like I said, it's only 12 strings here. You could make it bigger, but I would also extend it down further. If you're going to go wider, also go longer. So that would work out. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, here I'm. So off the screen, I am fighting with it and I am wrestling to get. Oh no, this is the first part. I am trying to build the big knot. So this is how I did the big knot that's on the inside of it. Again, I'm not sure. I don't think this really works as well as I thought it would. And then here, and now I'm turning it around the right way. So I kind of went off screen there. Sorry, but there it goes. And then you can see I'm kind of shaping it, kind of tucking in the tassels and getting it nice. And yeah, that's it, guys. So hope you enjoyed it. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.